Hello and welcome back to the Frugal Granny UK channel. My name's Ali, I'm 64 years old and I'm in the run-up to retiring at the end of June, and this channel is about documenting my preparations and how I'm going to manage on a severely reduced income when I get there. Before I start, I just want to introduce you to somebody who was making quite a lot of background noise in my last video. This is Kitty. Kitty's a 13-year-old black rescue pug who's a little bit neurotic, but we love her dearly. So apologies in advance if you ever hear grunting, snorting or snoring in the background. It's this little girl here, isn't it? Are you going to sit quietly while I talk to everybody? Today I'm going to talk about my side hustle income and how I budget that. And as I was thinking about it, I realised that I couldn't really remember what I've spent it on over the last year. I've worked for this supermarket for about 18 months now, maybe not quite that long. I started in December 23 as a Christmas temp, and then they made me permanent in January, and I'm contracted to do 18 hours a week, and that's at it was at £12.02 an hour, at which I was taxed at 20% because obviously I already have a full-time job in an office. That pay has now gone up to £2.45 an hour, and by my calculations, after I've paid my tax, contributed to the pension scheme at the full rate, and paid my national insurance, I'm bringing home about £640 a month. So I've been doing that for a year and 3 months now. The first month, the December 2023, I effectively took the job because I wanted to pay for an Airbnb so that the whole of my family could get together for the New Year period. So that salary all went on buying, renting a big Airbnb down in the south of England where we all got together. But from then on inwards, I started using the side hustle money for extras. And I was sitting there yesterday thinking, I can't honestly remember what I spent it on. So this morning I went back through all of my account sheets because I write everything down, which I think is really essential for anybody who wants to budget, track their income and try and figure out where their money's gone, what they did wrong, what they did right, and what they're going to go and do going forward. So I wrote it down, so please forgive me if I keep looking off to the side because my laptop's there. I still don't honestly know how to edit in clips or share my screen or whatever on YouTube, so just please bear with me. But I went through all of the things that I've spent my side hustle money on over the last 12 months. And during the first 6 to 8 months, it was slightly haphazard. I really was spending it on treats, extras as I would call them, not necessarily treats. That some of them were investment purchases, some of them were definitely treats, and it wasn't really until I got to about October or November last year that I actually realized I needed to start having a bit more structure as to how I allocated that money. And I'll come to that bit later. So January last year, 24, I treated myself to a rug for my sitting room. I think you can see that on one of my Instagram posts. It came from John Lewis. I've had my eye on it for many years, and I was thinking I would wait until both of my dogs had got their rainbow tickets, you know, when I was nearer 67, and it would, you know, cover up the rather cheap carpet that I'd put in when I moved into this house so that I wouldn't have to empty the room, get the carpet replaced, etc, etc. So I thought, nice rug, it'll give the room a rather cheerful vibe. And although Pi, my late dog, was beginning to get a bit incontinent by that stage, I thought I'm going to risk it. and it was fine. She never messed it up, and I've really enjoyed the rug. So looking as well at what I spent early in 2024, I can see I bought myself a bottle of Chanel number 5. Now that's a bit of a luxury, isn't it? That was £100, but I never pay full price for anything. I got that through a John Lewis discounted gift card through my office benefits site. I also threw a buffet lunch for about 15 work colleagues, and that wasn't cheap either. I think that probably cost me a couple of £100. A little bit like Babette's Feast, I guess, if you've ever seen that movie. It's about a French lady living in Denmark who wins the lottery, and rather than spending it on herself, she treats all the rather narrow-minded people in her village to a lovely feast. Well, my colleagues aren't narrow-minded, they're lovely, and I just wanted to have them round. And as it turns out, that will probably be the last time now. I can see also at that time of the year, I put some money in my emergency fund. I spent quite a lot on filling my freezers and topping up my pantry. I bought myself a new CD player. Now that dates me a bit, doesn't it? I was really looking for a specific one that was similar to the one that I had for my 50th birthday that had broken, and I found one. I think that was about £69. I also bought a window vac. I'd not seen one of these before, but someone on my street said that they'd got one because someone else on the street WhatsApp had asked, what do you do about condensation on Victorian windows? And this other lady said, oh, we've got a window vac. So I thought, right, I'm going to get one of those, and it's absolutely fab. It's like a squeegee with a vacuum attached to it, and you just pull it across your window and it sucks up all of the condensation, which is wonderful if you don't want it collecting along the bottom if you've got Victorian wooden windows like I have. I've not replaced mine deliberately. They are the original windows, so I need to keep them clean and dry. What else did I buy? I had to have the washing machine repaired, which, as we all know, is about £150 before you've even breathed. I can see here that I had a vet bill for Pi. I can't remember what was the matter with her. There was another vet bill for Kitty here. She had to have a dental. That was £400. Unbelievable. Cost more than my dental visit. I had a dentist visit that week as well, and it was less than that. I had to have a crown replaced. So, I mean, honestly, another £300 and what pounds. Two things I did treat myself to, and you'll really laugh because this dates me now. I bought tickets to a Tubular Bells concert. That was the very first LP I ever bought in the 70s, was Mike Oldfield's Tubular Bells, and the thought that I could hear it live by some of his original band members was just amazing, and it was a fantastic evening. I really, really loved it. But again, tickets are expensive, sometimes 3 figures. I also bought tickets to a Paul Carrack concert, which I took a couple of other people to as well. Paul Carrack was in Genesis and Mike and the Mechanics, and somebody I used to know in a previous life. So it was really nice to go and hear him and his band play again. A really biggie for me last year in terms of expense and in terms of thinking and prepping about the future was getting a lasting power of attorney put in place. It's essential that you have a will, but I also do think a lasting power of attorney is important. There are 2 kinds, one for financial stuff and one for health related stuff. And as I sort of hinted in my first video, I've got a few underlying health problems, and I had to go and see my consultant about this time last year, and they were talking about operations, and of course you get very anxious. So I thought I need to get my affairs in order, and that was one thing that came up. I bought a book called Your Last Gift, about how to get your affairs in order and what sort of things you need to do. And that was one of the first things the author mentioned, was getting a lasting power of attorney. So I did that. You can do it yourself online quite cheaply, but I wanted to do it through my solicitor, and it cost me quite a lot of money. It was, by the time I'd finished, it was about £800. So if I'm getting £600 a month, for my side hustle, that's a month and a half gone just like that. Then in summer, my grandchildren came to stay. My oldest son and his wife live abroad. They've got two children, my grandchildren, and I only see them once a year because of the distance. So when they're here, I like to treat them. So I bought tickets to a local theme park. We went to a theme park. Well, again, you're talking three figures. I had the whole of my immediate family over, and we all went for a pub lunch, which I paid for. Well, that was nearly £200. So that took another couple of months worth of my side hustle money. And I do remember they came in July, and it took me till about September to get that paid back and sorted out. And during the summer also, I had to replace my mobile phone, which I got a very good deal through the supermarket, and I'm absolutely thrilled about that. I also replanted my garden with flowering perennials. That was a complete disaster. They've either died in the winter or the slugs ate them, so that was a total waste of money. That was one thing I really do regret. Other things I had to buy last summer with the side hustle money included a dump truck full of firewood, kiln dried, for my wood stoves. I think I had a load and then another dump bag, and that was about 700 and something, because I decided after that to put £75 a month aside for firewood, rather than just scrabbling around every summer trying to find that amount of money. In that respect, I also bought a kindling cracker, because I'd almost take my thumb off a few years ago splitting kindling. If you don't know what a kindling cracker is, it's a sort of cast iron thing that you put the wood in and you hit it with a lump hammer and it splits it, rather than you whacking with a kindling axe and removing your digits. That was £100. I mean, it's a rip-off, but I'd rather spend £100 and keep my thumb, to be honest. Other things I did, I bought a leaf blower for my garden, just a small one, but I've got quite a lot of gravel at the bottom of my garden and at the front, and it's hard to get the leaves off in the autumn, so I bought myself a cheap leaf blower. And I treated myself to a 6-month subscription to Ancestry.com, because one thing I've been doing since the pandemic is researching my family tree, and very interested to find that I am Yorkshire on both sides for at least 500 years, even though I've not lived terribly much of my life in Yorkshire. Then as we got closer to Christmas, obviously Christmas food, I must admit I bought a fair amount of wine on offer. And then after Christmas, I decided to get a new washing machine, and we know those are not cheap. With Pi becoming doubly incontinent, the amount of laundry I was having to do significantly increased, and it was apparent that I needed better laundry facilities, so I did that. And the sofa actually broke as well. The springs went. I was hoping, like the rug, to wait till I was nearly 67 and get those either with my lump sum or in the final run up to retiring then. But the sofa broke, so I thought, right, we'll get one. And I went for an IKEA Ektorp, basically because of the price and the style and the size and the fact that the covers come off. And so I didn't risk not being able to have the same matching sofa. I bought an extra cover so that when I replaced the second sofa in my front room, I already had a cover that would match the first one. What else did I do? Oh my goodness, yes. Then we had the chimney stack fiasco at the beginning of this year, which cost me an unexpected £5,000. Please don't lay into me about that. I do feel I was railroaded a bit over that. The person who did the remortaring has made a terrible mess on the back of my roof, and I discovered last week that some of that mortar has actually accumulated in the back gutter. So when the guy comes at the end of this month to do the woodwork at the front of the house, I'm just going to ask him to go round with his ladder and just get that mortar out of the back gutter. I'm livid about it, actually, absolutely livid. I'm trying to stay calm, but I'm just glad that I saw the mortar, because if I hadn't, we could have ended up with water coming in through the back bedroom wall like I've had through the front. But I'm just grateful I've seen it, and I'm grateful that nothing's come through yet. So what else have I spent that money on? I've bought a couple of tickets, no, one ticket just for me to my college reunion. It's 45 years, and I've had to book an overnight room. What else have I done? Pi's cremation, obviously, that cost me 630. I've also slowly over the last year replaced most of the clothes in my wardrobe, because I have increased a dress size, and I also replaced all of the bathroom towels, my pillows, and got myself a couple of new duvets and a bedspread, because obviously the way Pi was and the way how much it costs to wash a duvet, I just decided that once she'd got her rainbow ticket, I was going to get a clean duvet. So yeah, I know. So those are all the things that I spent my side hustle money on. And when I think about it now, I can see that apart from the things that I treated myself to, and there's nothing wrong with treating yourself, that I probably was subconsciously accelerating my preparation for retirement. It's very funny how your subconscious knows these things before your conscious mind actually twigs. So that's what I've spent it on. Once I got to a stage when I thought I needed to budget it better, I was starting to save £70 of it every month, just as personal savings. I was putting £75 a month aside for firewood, £50 a month to pay for a laptop, and another £50 a month for the mobile phone, and any of the excess, and sometimes that would have been significantly more than the balance on £600 because I do extra shifts. That was what I used for all these other things. So obviously going forward, that's not going to happen. All this spending's got to stop. There's nothing else that needs to be bought as far as I can see. But what I am doing with the money at the moment is paying off things that I've bought on my credit card that have to be cleared this month. So this month, besides the saving the laptop, the firewood and the phone, I've paid off the balance of Pi's cremation. I've put £250 aside to help reglaze the front door. That's one of the last renovation tasks. I've paid for this dress and its matching pair, 2 stair gates for when my grandchildren are here this summer, the phone tripod I'm using at the moment, and some Easter food for when my middle son and his partner were here over Easter. So next month, now that's all clear, that credit card's all clear, there won't be anything on that credit card, but I will explain in another video how I use that credit card under normal circumstances. There won't be anything else unnecessary on there now. Next month, most of the side hustle money will be going towards completing the amount of money I need for the final renovation on the front of the house, along with the final payment on the laptop. But obviously the firewood and the mobile phone payments will be ongoing, and will have to be incorporated into my main monthly budget once we get into July. So basically that's what I do with my side hustle money, and that's what I mean when I say that, you know, I've been living large for the last 12 months. That's not how I normally live. It's been really nice to have the odd treat. It's been nice to replace the things that needed replacing, like the washing machine and the bath towels and the duvet, phone, laptop. It's been nice to be able to refresh my wardrobe now that I'm no longer comfortable in jeans and I want something loose and stylish and comfortable. It's been nice to be able to replace the sofas. I'm really pleased about these things, and they're not things that are going to need to be done again. I mean, I've also been able to help my adult kids out when they've needed it. I've taken my daughter and her partner out for a meal. So it's been really, really nice to do those things just for a limited time, but that really will be it now. So there you go. I hope you don't mind me airing that kind of dirty laundry in public, but that £640 going forward will become part of my main income. So we'll talk about that budget a little bit later when I know how much my work-based pension annuity is going to be, and then we can do the maths on that. But from what I can see, it's not going to be as bad as I thought. It's going to be tight, but not as bad as I thought. But anyway, thank you for coming along again. Sorry if this has been a bit long. Do they say like, subscribe, share, comment? How do you treat yourself? Do you treat yourself? I'm not sure I'm going to be able to treat myself going forward, but we'll see. Anyway, thanks for listening. It's good to see you again, and bye for now.